Well, hello out there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy you're here. Thanks so much for dropping by and taking a listen in. Well, today we're going to talk about, what you can control and what you can't control. And if you're here, you probably have some interest in this because, like myself, I'm sure that you've struggled with trying to be in control of things that you realize you have no control over. One of the most challenging things can be when you're in a situation and you realize you have no control over it. You're just sitting there going like, what is happening? How come this is happening? And for us to sort of step back and realize really the things we can control are how we respond, you know, how we see things, and things like what we eat, what we drink. And so if we start from that, and it becomes a little easier. Now, doing it is a completely different thing, right? We've all been in relationships. We might not like what someone's saying, and we almost try to control it because we don't want to hear what they have to say, because maybe what they're saying is causing us discomfort. Maybe what they're saying is causing us some pain. And so we tend to react to those situations in ways that are not always conducive for us. And what I mean by that is they don't work out well for us. So it could be relationships, intimate relationship, and someone says, hey, you know what, Luke, I don't want to see you anymore. Now I have absolute control in how I respond to that. And I also have control how I would react to that. And so hopefully you're still here. So, you know, we start thinking about these things, reactions, responses, control versus I'm completely out of control. I can't control myself. And usually when we start taking that line, we've amped up so much. Our nervous system has been so overreacted that we just go to that fight or flight or freeze. Right? It's hard for us to step back, really listen to the person, and not listen to just respond, but listen to understand. And that understanding doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but understanding so you know where they're coming from. And it's can be so challenging when we start hearing things we don't want to hear, like the relationship's over. And this doesn't apply to everybody, but for most of us, we've been in these situations. And if you really think about it, probably more than once. And so, what is it that you can do? Well, one of the biggest things in realizing and focusing on what you can control would be taking a step back and going, I hear what you're saying. It really upsets me, and I know if I say anything right now, I'm gonna react rather than respond. So I respect what you're saying, and I'm hoping we can talk about this at another time. Or it would be, I'm really hurt by this, or I'm in agreement with what you say. The relationship is not working, or this position, you're right here, this job, it's not working out for me either. But I appreciate the chance to try and hope things work well. Now, those all sound like wonderful scenarios, um, but they're not typically how things go. Typically, people, hey, Luke, the relationship isn't, what do you mean it's not working out? Oh my God, like, I can do better. I can do better. I can do better. Right? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. Like, all of a sudden, everything's out of control rather than stepping back and falling into that pocket of, yeah, I can understand that, or I don't really understand how you're seeing it, but I respect what you're saying. And it takes a great deal of, like anything else, it takes practice. So I wouldn't suggest you practice that as your relationship maybe ending and moving on. But the challenge can be is that when we like to think that we have no control, like they did this, they did that, and that's all based on how we think that they're seeing things. So it's based on our opinions. It's not based on facts. And that becomes the hard part is that sometimes we can over base things on how we see things, not how they are. So one of the things in working with trying to gain control over things that you can control is really working with acceptance. And I know you're probably sitting there going, acceptance bullshit. I'm not now, but when we accept things how they are, we're not sitting there trying to make them something that they're not. Right? Like when it comes to relationships, and if we accept how it is and what's actually going on, we get away from that trying to give someone more of something they already don't want, which is not going to work out well for you. It's not going to work out well for them. And so you'll often hear me talk about acceptance and letting go. Accept how things are, right? How reality really is. This is really happening. This relationship, this job, this friendship, this is really happening right now. And it doesn't mean acceptance is approval. And that's where a lot of people can get confused is that they'll hear that word acceptance and it's like, oh, so you just want me to accept that it's this and it's that. It's like, no, what I'm saying is you have to accept how it is. You know, the letting go part comes in when you let go of how you wanted things to be. You know, because when these things happen, you know, when these relationships end, friendships, jobs, you know, all those things, we get into that opinion about things. Well, I thought it was going to be this way, and I thought it was going to be that way, and you know, you're not doing this right, and you're doing this, and those are all based on our opinions, unless they're based in facts that yes, this person did do this, but we don't know the intention, and so letting go of our opinions about things can be very challenging. But imagine, so think this way. Well, don't think. Sorry about that. Look at it this way. Oh man, look at it this way. So we can get caught up in how things are supposed to be, how we want them to be, right? And we don't slow down enough to really see how things are. So I'm sure there's been times in your life where a relationship's ended, a job's ended, and your reaction to that is just, oh my God, it's the worst thing that ever happened to me, and I don't think I'll ever be this and that, and now fast forward, you know, 10 years later, and your opinion about that situation probably has changed. And how you feel about that situation has probably changed. And it may get to the point, well, when I lost that job, it opened up other avenues to go here, to here, to here, and open up this brand new job, which I never would have thought of, and all these new experiences. So that part over here led to this. And it becomes frustrating for some people because you'll hear like some people be like, yeah, I have no regrets. You know, the older I get or the more experiences I have, I realize things all tend to always work out. And it's hard to think that way because there's an acceptance in that. An acceptance of how things have been. It may not have been how you wanted them to be, but you realize that's what happened to lead to this. It becomes incredibly frustrating. So the big thing you can control is working on your acceptance, right? Like accepting, hey, I need to do this for this to happen. Accepting, yep, this is really happening. Yep, this relationship is ending. And it doesn't mean it's going to happen right away. But when you come with that mindset, which will lead to your heart, like, yeah, it really makes me upset that this is this is over and this is ending. But when we can contribute the two, going from our minds to our hearts, which then leaves in our hearts like our emotions, which leads to our physical stuff that's going on with us, and then leads to more of our spiritual side. Right? When those are all connected, that whole idea about accepting things as they are becomes a bit more clear. And the letting go piece of letting go how you thought things would be, the dreams, the hopes of those situations, and letting them go, right? So you're making room and allowing things to unfold. It's a challenging position to be in. We've all been there. But the more we do it, the more we accept things, the easier it is to control how we respond to things. And as we let go of things, the easier it is to control how we react to that letting go, responding to that letting go, you know, because we don't want to react. React is very quick. Responding is more well thought out, more heart set, more in your heart, and that's a good place to be. But we've all been in the other place too. So hopefully this helped a little bit and help you work on your journey as you're trying to navigate some of these things. I appreciate you stopping by. If you want to work with me, you can do the contacts through my email. We can set something up. And you have a fantastic day. And as always, remember you are enough. You're enough exactly how you are. You're enough just for simply existing. And you're so worth all the work. Keep figuring things out, keep searching and finding things that really fit for you so that you can work on those changes. And change is always challenging, but change is part of life. Everything changes in our lives. That's the one constant is change. And you are loved. You are deeply loved. Thanks again, and we will see you again. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.